Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for accepting this interview, sir.
Sure. So you are now in the master's program at FIU?
Yes, sir. I am actually in my last semester. I have like 30 days left before I finish.
Good for you. By the way, me too.
Yes?
I'm probably a few generations above you, but I decided to go back in my master's degree, and I had such a great time that I think I'm going to continue to my doctorate.
That's amazing. You did it at
Yeah.
FIU as well?
I did it at FIU, yeah, but my area of focus was real estate.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, but that's
And
so
what was
awesome.
yours?
Mine is mine is the Masters of Science in Marketing.
Oh, so it was not in hospitality.
No, this one I did my Masters in Marketing.
Yeah, very good. Good for you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I wanted to yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead. I know that you sent me. I briefly went. I had a very busy few days, so I didn't really get to dive into your questions. If you want to ask me those questions, I'll try the best of my. I'll try my best to answer them to the best of to the most informative way that I can.
Yes, of course. Okay, so I want to start it with asking you, to tell me a little bit about yourself and your marketing experience.
So, I've been to I started my hotel career when I was 7 in high school, the summer between 11th and 12th grade. Got hooked on it, with a bug. I had it and I worked throughout the entire 12th grade. As a bellboy, actually, and then went to the service. And when I came out of the service, I went to study hospitality in Texas at the Conrad Hilton College. And when I graduated, I was recruited by Hilton for a training program. It was like a 4 or 5 months management training program in San Antonio, knowing that I'm going to global sales from there to Dallas. So when I finished my training, I went to Dallas. I spent 2 years in national sales, doing new accounts development, and then having an account load. I had probably about 200 accounts that I was responsible for to solicit, send leads to the hotel, follow up, book it, and then went to New York to the Waldorf Astoria as a sales manager, moved up to assistant director of sales, and came to Miami as director of sales and marketing at the Hilton Miami Airport. Moved from there to the Fontainebleau, then left Hilton, went to Intercontinental as a regional director of sales and marketing, and then left the industry altogether. I won a consulting project for Miami-Dade Aviation Department to consult them on developing a new hotel at the airport. And just one project led to another. I was out for about 10 years doing consulting when decided to go back. Joined, did a few task forces, got recruited by Hyatt as director of sales and marketing in a resort in Maryland, and then went back to Hilton in 2018 as director of sales and marketing, first in New Jersey, and then back to Miami to Hilton Miami Airport. And then came COVID. I got furloughed for a few months and got called back to do task force. I don't know if the word task force, if you're familiar with the expression, in our industry, there is always a shortage of executives. I mean, there's just if you look at any given point in the company, in my discipline, there are about 10 to 15 open positions for directors of sales and marketing. So the task force person goes in, fills in like a substitute teacher, goes in because you know the systems, you gotta slide into like you've always been there. You do whatever you do. You help in recruiting the new person. You onboard the new person, and then you move on to the next task. And I've been doing it for the last 2 years. I was 7 months in Boston, 2 months in New York, 4 months in Spokane, Washington, 4 months in Tulsa. Spent 2.5 months in Fort Lauderdale at the Gallery One. And just, I don't know, about 5 weeks ago, I was sent to the Diplomat in Hollywood Beach.
My God, you've been everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, it was a very probably two of the most interesting years of my career, I have to say.
Yeah.
Really was.
But it sounds very
So
interesting. Sounds very
yeah.
fun. Because I was gonna ask also, like, is hotel marketing like an enjoyable and exciting career? But as like you're saying,
So I have to, and you need to take a look at where's hotel marketing today and where it was when I started. So hotel marketing today is a total science, like any other marketing. It always was, but when I started, the director of sales and marketing was, responsible for the sales operation. And I don't know if you're familiar with what the sales organization does in a hotel. Let's say a hotel like Hilton Miami Airport has 500 rooms, 30,000 square feet of meeting space. You have to make sure that those rooms are maximized, to not just maximized in terms of occupancy, but that the market mix is optimized, that you've got the right number of group rooms, inside the group rooms that you've got the right number of company meetings with higher rates, and then on the weekends when business is slow, that you bring in the Smurf groups, the pre-cruise and the fraternities and the and then in the middle of the week there's a lot of corporate travel. So how do we get the companies like IBM and Hewlett Packard and Johnson & Johnson all to stay with you, and how do you make sure that you get the maximum rate? So it's that revenue maximization, and nowadays it's not just revenue maximization, it's profit maximization, because you may have a higher room rate, but that group comes with a higher cost, so your profits are going to be lower. So that was a part of what the director of sales and marketing, did. Marketing was, I don't want to say a side deal, but marketing 30 years ago was, where's the group coming? Where is our business coming from? It was relatively easy to track it, because, your reservation system had collected the addresses and the database from the people who stayed with us. And you knew that, let's say, 30% of your business comes from New York, comes from a certain market. You place an ad in the newspaper. It was all print ads. And basically, that was it. You were looking for all kind of opportunities, joint promotions with credit card companies. There was a period that I worked with American Express. How are we able to? I don't know if you're probably too young to remember, but back up until 10 years ago, most of the billing came via mail. So
yes.
Your American Express statement came via an envelope, and there was an ad in it, for, say, Hilton Hotels of Florida. So we put together 8 of us at the time, financed it, and went into bed with American Express in return for inserting an ad in their statement. We gave their users double points. I don't know, all kind of promotions, or buy 2 nights, get the third one free. And we were looking for these kind of opportunities. This has completely changed nowadays. The joint promotions with credit card companies, airlines, travel companies still works, but the marketing manager nowadays is a scientist. It's not just a marketing person. It's really understanding the digital world like nobody else, and understanding statistics, understanding the return on advertising is a big thing. The hotel that I'm in right now, we have a director of marketing that does strictly marketing, doesn't get involved in sales at all. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the sponsored listings. When you go, and I urge you, when we're done, go online, Google, say Hilton Miami Airport or Marriott Biscayne Bay, and you'll see on the right side of the screen, the listings is going to appear with a map, with a picture of the hotel, and with a book your room. It's got those tabs that enter the dates, and you enter the dates, and you press search, and it will give you all the rates available. What people don't understand is that there's like 6 or 7 rates that show up.
Yes, yes, there is.
Your rate, the hotel's rate from your reservation system, and then all those online travel agencies like
It's TripAdvisor,
Expedia, like
Booking.com.
Hotels.com, and they're competing with you for your reservation. You're getting the rooms, but if you don't get the first spot, like on the top of the listings, and Hotels.com gets it, you're going to end up paying them like between 10 and 19% commission, versus you are getting it directly and you don't pay anybody commission. Well, I mean, you pay the advertising.
Yeah.
It's called sponsored listings. So there's like a myriad of spending, and you have to not just be able to get on the top of the line. How much are you spending on it? I mean, are you bidding at a higher, because you're bidding for that click, and if Hotel.com spends more money than you do, which those OTAs do spend more money than the hotels. Many cases you're like number 3 or 4 on the list, so it's a really interesting dynamic. So you have to take a look at it. The other thing is that remarketing. When you go to Google and say traveling to New York, or that you want to stay at the Ritz-Carlton in Buckhead in Atlanta, and you put Ritz-Carlton Buckhead, you notice that every website that you go into after that, you can go into your Facebook page, into Instagram, you can go into your Miami Herald account, and all of a sudden you'll see Ritz-Carlton Buckhead chasing you until you book it, or until it disappears 2 weeks later. So this is a science. It just doesn't happen by itself, and a really good marketing person understands that science and spends enough funds and enough time to lure the customers to come to your hotel. That's the marketing side of it. And it's like this in every segment. I mean, we're talking about the transient market, the individual travelers, but it's the same thing for groups. It's the same thing for airline crews. How do you market to airline crews? If you're a hotel at the airport or even in downtown, and you want to have an airline crew staying with you, how do you find them and target them and sell them? It's a whole science. So
And
it's exciting. My background is really in sales. I get into marketing just because I love the sales experience. I became a director of sales, and back then the director of sales was director of sales and marketing. So
you have the best of both worlds.
yeah.
So throughout with all your experience, which has been your most memorable experience throughout your entire career?
Well, I was transferred to, I have to say that, my entire career was great. I really enjoyed, I enjoyed a lot of, I was sent to the Waldorf Astoria about 2 years into my career, Waldorf Astoria, New York. And it's a historical, it's a hotel that the Waldorf Astoria, New York was actually built in 1891.
Wow.
And then it was at the location where the Empire State Building is today. And then it was the property was sold to build the Empire State Building, and they rebuilt the hotel and where it is now right now. So the history over there is unbelievable. Every president of the United States stayed there since its opening until they sold it to the Chinese insurance company. I met every president while I was there, for 5 years.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It was in the stories and so it was a really interesting experience. And when my grandfather got off the boat, came to the United States, it was his first job at that hotel. So for me, it was like I've always heard about. He worked at the Waldorf Astoria. He worked there for 15 years until he opened a restaurant in New York. So for me, it was really exciting. I don't know. I was the regional director of sales and marketing for Intercontinental for the Southeast U.S. and the Caribbean. I went through a program that Intercontinental had offered at the time to develop their next generation of general managers. It was a really interesting program that I attended. And then when they discovered that that I'm fluent in German, almost like my native tongue. They made me like the head of the co-op, the advertising co-op, and the sales co-op for the hotels in North America that do business with Germany. So
Oh, wow,
I
it's
would go
amazing.
twice a year. I would go to ITV Berlin, IMEX Frankfurt, the sales roadshow in Austria and in Switzerland. I mean, it was really interesting. I did it for 3 years. And then coming back to Hilton, I mean, the last 2 years, the task forcing, I've been to Boston, New York, Spokane, Tulsa, Fort Lauderdale, which is six different hotels in a 2 years period. Worked with different people, different geographies, different mentalities, and kind of really learned to appreciate, this country is beautiful. So,
Yeah, your career has taken you
being in
all over the
Spokane,
world.
being in Spokane, Washington is like living in a National Geographic article. It's just gorgeous.
Oh, I can't wait. I always wanted to go to Washington.
It's Washington State, not
Washington.
Washington, D.C., yeah.
And then with all these questions, I want to like ask you, like, since I'm in college right now still, like, what advice would you give your younger self in college?
What advice would I give I'm sorry?
Your younger self in college. Like, if you knew everything you knew now, what would you tell yourself while you were in college?
Well, a few things. I would have taken another route. I mean, I would have still ended up in the hotel business. I would have not studied hospitality. I would have probably studied economics or, get a good business degree rather than go to hotel school. I have to say that that my biggest mentors in the industry didn't study hospitality. They came through it because they studied math and worked in college to earn, money and fell into it. But the education, and I'm seeing it now. I'm back to hospitality. I'm getting my master's, and I think that an MBA would have been probably a better route than a master's in hospitality. Just academically, it's much deeper. But I would say get to understand leadership. It's really develop yourself in the area of leadership. What you contribute, and I'm trying to word it in a when you're young. I hate to sound like an old person, but when you're young, it's all about yourself. And you want to succeed. You want to be seen. You want to be noticed. You want to be the best. You want to be in the forefront. And you realize at the end of the career that it's not you. It's the people that you helped move up with you, and then people under you that you helped move up. So.
So it's more about giving.
When you get started, just be cognizant of your surroundings. How can you help? How can you help the people that are working with you? How can you be a part of a team? Rather, how can you outshine the rest of the team? Does it make sense?
Yes, it's actually amazing. You should make that into a quote. Actually, I really like that. I really, really like that.
Because when you do something good for the rest of the team, you're gonna rise up regardless.
Yes.
When you do something just for yourself, it's a temporary thing, So
that's very true. Yes. Well, that's why you've gotten so far.
I got my sun in my eye right now. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for this amazing interview. You've explained so much. You're very informational, and I also want to congratulate you on your entire career. It's been amazing. You've traveled the whole world.
Any other questions before you?
Well, at the moment, no, you've answered. I didn't need to ask all the questions because you answered them while answering my other questions.
Sure.
But I want to thank you again. Amazing, amazing career that you've had, sir.